We're in Newfoundland touring around in the Chevrolet Silverado.
And we kick it off with a bang. Done! Whack.
Wow!
Wow, that's loud.
Oh, how cool.
Hey!
Program. Thanks for coming.
The beauty of a V8. What a good sound, too.
All right, we said we kicked it off with a bang. We'll explain that in just a moment. We're in the High Country Silverado. What's under the hood of this thing?
The High Country comes standard with a 5.3-liter V8 paired to a 10-speed automatic transmission, 355 horsepower, and 383 pound-feet of torque. We have the optional 6.2-liter V8 in our test model. It has 420 horsepower and 460 pound-feet of torque.
Now the base engine is a 2.7-liter Duramax 4-cylinder with an 8-speed automatic transmission, 310 horsepower, but 430 pound-feet of torque. Another premium engine option is the 3-liter Duramax diesel with 305 horsepower and 395 pound-feet of torque. The Silverado is available with 2-wheel drive and 4-wheel drive. So we're in the High Country heading up country. We started in St. John's, Newfoundland. Now we're heading up to the other end of Newfoundland, the Big Island, the Rock.
Yeah.
And while we're driving, Andrea, what do you get with this? What are the key standard features of the base model?
The base trim comes with a 3.5-inch driver display, a 7-inch touchscreen with Chevrolet 3, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, 4-way manual front seats, vinyl upholstery, single-zone climate control, a 6-speaker audio system, remote keyless entry, Durabed, and Chevy Safety Assist.
Do you know that we're 4.5 time zones ahead of where we usually live?
Yep.
But some things never change, Andrea. What do we have to put it in?
You got to put it in S for subscribe, and if you can hit that notification bell, you'll be notified when all our reviews drop, and then you can watch them.
And we do this, the couple car review twice a week. The first one drops on Wednesday.
We put another one out on Saturday.
Make sure to like and subscribe, but also follow along on Instagram. It's Motormouth_Andrea to get a question in and also to see what's going on behind the scenes. For me, it's Motormouth_Auto, and the links are below the like button.
Now, typically when we do our reviews, we don't always do in-car on the highway because it really gets loud. But we are doing this High Country on the road, on the Trans-Canada Highway, and it is quiet.
Yeah, very quiet. We didn't start on the Trans-Canada. We actually started in St. John's, Newfoundland. We spent 2 nights there. And we had a really cool thing. General Motors said to us, would you like to shoot off the noon gun on the top of Signal Hill? And I wrote back and said, hell yeah. So Andrea got to do it, and we kicked off the video with a bang. Andrea, what was that like?
Oh man, it was amazing. Do you know only one person a day gets to do it between July 1st, Canada Day, and Labor Day. So that was a real treat to get the opportunity to do that. And the gentleman who did it with us, wow, so knowledgeable, amazing guy, very friendly.
Because this is what we're going to be shooting today.
Okay.
So we'll be fine. This is the other part of it. I made that joke about Lego earlier. It's
Yes.
the spicy arts and crafts, right? We build
Yes.
these little guys in-house and fill them. We're talking 4 ounces black powder. We use a blank cartridge to initiate them, so it's all centerfire rifle primers and that.
Right.
And you're about to be firing one of the most complex ammunition, actually not one of the most complex ammunition nature in Parks Canada.
Wow.
Signal gun! Time! Whack.
Wow.
Wow, that's loud.
Oh, how cool.
Hey!
Program. Thanks for coming.
Can we do it again?
Awesome.
Can we do that again?
No, only once during the day.
Only once a day.
So roughly about 60 people a year get to do it. Andrea was one of them.
Yeah.
And one of our followers said, we heard the gun the day you did it. And
Yes.
that's kind of a cool thing.
Well, we've met so many viewers and followers on this trip in Newfoundland. It really has been such an incredible experience to meet many of you. We're so glad that you came up to us and said, I watch you all the time. So it's been a lot of fun for us.
So initially, when we were booking this trip to come to Newfoundland, we had an option of vehicles. Some of them fell through just because we're on an island. They couldn't get them here in time. So we landed on the Silverado High Country. And now that we've had it for 3 or 4 days, I think this might be the perfect vehicle for Newfoundland, Andrea.
Well, there are so many around, that's for sure. Full-size pickup trucks, I want to say, are a dime a dozen in Newfoundland.
And most of them are Gander motors.
Yes, people really, really like them, and I can understand why. We traveled to Bonavista, and the roads are pretty rough there, tons of potholes, and this just ate them up. It provides such a comfortable drive, and I actually like it in sport mode because it gives it a little bit of a growly sound, but definitely normal is more comfortable.
Okay, so St. John's, Newfoundland, for those who have never been to Newfoundland, and if you're, a lot of American viewers, it is an amazing place to visit because it's so colorful. They have these beautiful homes that line the old downtown. Actually, most of the homes are colorfully painted. And do you know why they're all different colors, Andrea?
I do. Well, back in the day when they were painting boats, they used the leftover colors to paint the homes and keep up with the maintenance. Makes sense, right? If you're painting it on a boat, why can't it be a house?
Yeah, so
very pretty.
If there was leftover paint, that's why one was blue, one was yellow, and so on. That's what I was told anyway. And it's such a beautiful, quaint city, a protected harbor, and that's the capital. And we've left there and are heading up country, and we drove to a beautiful inn, and we stayed there last night called Fisher's Inn.
Fisher's Inn, yeah, in Port Rexon.
And amazing views there. That's the thing is, when you drive through on the main highway in Newfoundland, it's a lot of trees, and it's called, and the other name for Newfoundland is the Rock. Yeah. The name is the Rock, and you see a lot of trees. Haven't seen a moose. There's still hope.
You warned us about seeing a moose, and be careful. But we still haven't seen one yet, and we haven't seen a whale either.
So it's been an incredible journey, and the main thing for me with this truck, Andrea, is the potholes. This thing just gobbles them up, and such vast distances to travel. I can totally see why this is maybe looked upon as a luxury vehicle in Newfoundland.
Yeah, for sure. And also I want to comment on the power. The acceleration is amazing, and
sounds good too.
Awesome. And passing power. You get on the highway and there's a lot of people who are maybe dawdling a little bit. Mm-hmm. And, you have to pass quickly because it goes down to one lane again. And boy, this thing is a beast. It does the job it's supposed to do.
Okay, so coming up in our hot topic, somebody's asking about the fuel economy of this. All we can say is this is a 6.2 liter V8. This is the high performance, high horsepower V8 is getting incredible fuel economy. We'll reveal the lowest number we got or the highest mileage. We do it opposite in the United States. Anyway, that's still to come.
I'm shocked. I'm amazed by the numbers. So for sure, stick around for that.
I would still get the diesel though.
Yeah, well, the diesel, we've got followers who have the diesel and they're getting 6.7 liters per 100 kilometers. I don't know what that is, miles per gallon off the top of my head like that.
It's about 30, maybe 30 miles, something like that.
Yeah,
it's
so
amazing.
I think that is wonderful of fuel economy from the diesel, and it also has so much torque, and that's what you need. You need torque for that passing power and that quick acceleration. I gotta say, the steering in this model feels really good as well. I was expecting it to be super light. Don't get me wrong, it doesn't have a heavy feel.
It's got a trucky feel.
It's just perfect.
Yeah.
It feels really good, and the braking has great feedback as well. The High Country model comes standard with a 2-speed auto-track transfer case, automatic locking rear differential, dual outlet exhaust, and available adaptive ride control. Now, there are so many different configurations and trims for this model. If you're looking for something more upscale, High Country is great for that. But if you want like an off-roader, adventurer, the ZR2 or ZR2 is perfect. If you want a basic truck, if you're a tradesperson and you just want something simple, go for a lower trim. There's a model for everyone.
So the one we have here is all black, very stealthy looking, very aggressive and sinister. A lot of people like that look. Me, it's just more to wash, but anyway, same thing. You can get all different configurations on the outside. Chevrolet, I think, styling not just on the full-size trucks, but also a lot of their cars and their SUVs, I think is strong. Like an example, and we've seen loads of them here, is the new Chevy Trax, and you see them on the road and you're like, that's a nice looking vehicle. So I think the design department at Chevy's done a good job.
Well, even the Chevrolet Traverse that we drove, we're a big fan of that vehicle, not only for space, but for exterior and interior design elements. The High Country model we're driving is a crew cab with a short bed. And it comes standard with LED headlamps, LED fog lamps, LED tail lamps. You've got cargo bedding, cargo tie downs, a corner step rear bumper, deep tinted glass, 20-inch wheels with all-terrain tires, and a 17-inch full-size spare tire. Wheel sizes for the Silverado range from 17-inch up to 22-inch wheels. Depending on the trim you choose, the Silverado comes with so many variations. Regular cab, double cab, crew cab. There's a standard 6.5-inch bed, a short 5.6-foot bed, or an 8-foot long bed, depending on the trim you choose. It has a maximum payload capacity of 2,260 pounds.
Well, just to tease you a little bit, we did stop at Tim Hortons in Gander.
Good coffee, right?
And Tim Hortons in Gander. Gander's a place you want to stop because Gander is famous for when 9/11 happened, all the international flights were grounded that were supposed to go to places like JFK and New York. They stayed there, and the Newfoundlanders from Gander brought all of those people into their homes and looked after them. And there's a famous play now called Come From Away. So I'm sure a lot of people have heard about that play.
I mean, really wonderful that these people just gathered. What a community. And another thing I want to add, being on this Trans-Canada highway made us think a lot about Terry Fox and how
oh my goodness,
he ran this on one leg. Like, what an inspiration.
Yeah.
What an inspiration.
I said to Andrea, we were down in the harbor in St. John's, and then we've been driving up the Trans-Canada Highway for a couple of days, and he ran this on one leg. If you're not aware of Terry Fox, he's a Canadian hero, and he raised money for cancer. Is the single largest fundraiser for cancer research in the world is the Terry Fox Foundation.
Incredible.
All right, so now we're going to turn our attention to the inside of this, and we spent a lot of time sitting here looking forward, and I got to tell you, Andrea, this is everything I need. There's real buttons and switches, which I'm really happy for. This one, if you go one up from the base, you get the large 12.3-inch digital instrument cluster, and then you also get the, is this 12.3 inch as well?
13.4 inches.
I was close.
You were super close.
13.4-inch infotainment screen, and it's got the latest, quickest processing, and it's been great.
It's got Google built in as well. I have to say the storage in the Silverado is fantastic. It even has all of these clever
there's
storage
Andrea's water for
slides.
later.
My water, this is a cool, cold cooler
Glove box thing.
box, whatever you call it. And one thing I do find though is that the door pockets are actually quite narrow. Now, we've managed to fit many bottles in there, but I thought that they would be a little bit wider. On the side here,
Still have room for my ham and cheese sandwich for later.
Is Timmy's. On this side, there is also a little bit of storage, and I just think it's really well laid out. And I have to say, it's absolutely refreshing to see a traditional shifter in here.
But what I love is we've got the rear seats flipped up, and we have both of our suitcases, camera bag, tripod, all of our odds and ends that we picked up along the way. And it's all inside, it's locked, it's dry. I get why people love these things.
And this High Country model has got some great features. You've got driver's seat memory, the larger screens, 10-way power front seats, heated and ventilated front seats, heated rear seats, the Bose sound system, just to name a few features in this. Now, there are some other features that are available, like Super Cruise.
Super Cruise, she's a no-go in Newfoundland. So what they have to do with Super Cruise is map the road. We are on Highway 1, the Trans-Canada Highway, the one highway that goes all the way from St. John's to Victoria, BC. And it hasn't been mapped.
No.
How do you have the Trans-Canada Highway in Newfoundland not mapped for Super Cruise? You climb on in, and you have a load of legroom, tons of headroom. You can spread right out. How does it compare?
Comparing the Silverado Crew Cab to the F-150 Super Crew, the Silverado has 44.5 inches of front row legroom, which is about half an inch more than the Ford. Second row legroom for the Chevrolet is 43.4 inches, which is the same as the Ford F-150.
Now this one is also equipped with the multi-flex tailgate that has the built-in step to get in. And I insisted that Andrea step in. You're welcome, guys. Time for coffee.
Time now for questions, coffee, and cars.
Your questions from Instagram.
Nice looking truck, but not a fan of the fake wood trim in the interior. Would prefer something else. Good news is there are a ton of trims. So it's really the High Country that gets the wood trim.
I remember driving with a chief engineer of the full-size pickup trucks.
Yeah.
This was maybe 2 generations ago, a Canadian guy who helped engineer these trucks. And he said there are literally hundreds of thousands of configurations for a full-size truck.
I know.
So if you don't like this,
Oh,
they'll sell you another one. They'll build you another one.
So many others, so don't worry about that at all. Would you say the interior and looks have equal to the Ram? I still think that it is a tick below, but certainly looks much better than prior versions. Hope you're enjoying your stay in Newfoundland. Well, first off, I just want to say we are loving Newfoundland, and there are so many Chevrolet Silverados on the road, like such a popular truck here.
It's probably has to do with their dealer network over the years. They probably had a very strong dealer network. And you know what, a great vehicle for this part of the world. Looks and design, I would say interior wise, I still think Ram is at the top of the heap when it comes to their features and their interiors. But looks on the outside, I like the look of this truck.
Oh, I do too. And I think you're right. Ram, as we all know, anyone who's into pickup trucks, makes a beautiful interior. But Chevrolet did a whole revamp in 2022.
It needed it though.
It did. When you look at that 2021 model interior, what a difference. You have got standard wireless Apple CarPlay in this model, and these big screens are available. So I think it really, they've done a great job, and there's a massive difference.
So the big thing for me is that the Ram screen goes this way, the big screen goes this way, and this is horizontal. And this, in my opinion, is just more pleasing to look at and to use. So it's the latest technology. That's the good thing.
What's the view like from the driver's seat, and is there a forward camera to assist?
Well, the view is good. I can get up and see as much down the road as I like.
One of the things I love about pickup trucks is, first off,
I'm going up to menswear.
people get off the road for you. Like if you're coming, you're just such a big presence on the road, which is why I love a big truck. Although I must say, for city driving, something a little bit smaller I find is more convenient. I like the seating position in here because you sit up and over the dash, as Zach demonstrated, and there is a forward assist camera. Actually, the graphics on the screen are quite nice.
And now it's time for our hot topic. What's this one, Andrea?
When I was a kid, my favorite vehicle was the Chevy Silverado 1500 model. Still love it. How is the fuel consumption from your testing?
So under the hood of this is a 6.2 liter V8. Just think about how big that is. But there's amazing technology. It's called cylinder deactivation, cylinder management. They switch off half the cylinders, so this becomes a big 4-cylinder when you're cruising across Newfoundland. And what's the best mileage we were able to get?
9.1 liters per 100 kilometers, which is 25.8 miles per gallon. I gotta say, I am shocked to get this kind of fuel economy in a V8.
And we're going to get through the vital stats right now. So the official fuel economy for this and a whole lot more. Let's get into it.
Let's start with pricing. We'll do Canada first and then move on to the US. The Canadian pricing includes freight, PDI, and fees. The base model starts at just over $54,000, and High Country is just over $86,500. In the US, the base model starts at just under $37,000, and High Country is just over $62,500.
Here's the official fuel economy for this 6.2 liter V8. 15.5 liters per 100 kilometers in the city, 12.6 on the highway, and we're getting better than that. That's 15 miles per gallon city, 20 miles per gallon highway. The towing capacity for the 6.2 liter and the diesel 3 liter Duramax is the same at 13,000 pounds. The warranty is 3 years, 60,000 kilometers or 36,000 miles. And in the United States, you get complimentary maintenance covered for the first visit. Lightning round, 2 things we like to see improved.
Can't beat the fuel economy on this model for a V8.
And one thing we haven't brought up yet, this has a Wi-Fi hotspot with a much bigger antenna than you're going to get in your cell phone. So you're able to suck in signal. Andrea's been on Instagram the whole time. She loves it. That's a great feature. What do you dislike?
Full-size pickup trucks are getting pretty pricey.
I think we need to come back next summer and do it all again in the diesel to see if we can get better fuel economy.
I think that sounds like a great idea. What do you think, Chevrolet?
All right, so that's a look at the Silverado High Country and also a quick tour of Newfoundland. It's beautiful here. Definitely worth a visit, especially in the summer.
Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.